Quick question. Can an ancient text be checked against the real world? Stones, cities, and surviving records can help us find out. In the next few minutes, we will look at 6 short cases where text and evidence meet. And we will end with a famous battle where myth and history do not always match. Here is why evidence matters. People argue about texts. Stones do not argue. Inscriptions name rulers, cities, and dates. Archaeology shows what was built, burned, moved, or abandoned. When a written claim and a hard object line up, confidence rises. When they do not, we learn something too. First, a quick baseline. For years, some doubted people named in the Bible or even whole cultures. The Hittites were treated as a legend in some circles. Then, excavations at Hattusa uncovered royal archives with laws, letters, and treaties. The Hittites were not a rumor. They were an empire with a capital, armies, and a legal code. The same goes for named rulers like Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. He is not only in a chapter, he is in royal inscriptions, economic tablets, and city records from his own time. This is the intersection where a religious text and secular sources both speak. Now, a focused case. The Tel Dan Stele. In northern Israel, a broken Aramaic inscription from the 9th century BC was found. The text mentions the House of David. That short line matters because it is an external source naming a Davidic dynasty, not a copy of a story, not a later retelling. A neighbor carved it in stone. That does not prove every scene in David's life, but it anchors a royal line in the ground. Place, period, and wording all point the same way. History and text line up here. Second case. Cyrus named in advance. The book of Isaiah names a future ruler who will let exiles return and rebuild. Later, a clay cylinder from Babylon records Cyrus's real policy. He sent captive peoples home and allowed temples to be restored. Different culture, different writing system. Same policy at the right time. Scholars debate dates and authorship. Fair. Even with debate, you are left with a named king and a matching decree in an unrelated royal inscription. When a written claim and a government document point in the same direction, it gets hard to ignore. Third case. Jerusalem in AD 70. The Gospels record a prediction of siege and destruction. 40 years later, Roman legions under Titus crushed a revolt and burned the temple. We can still see temple treasure carved on the Arch of Titus in Rome. We can read Josephus on famine, siege ramps, and the final breach. Text, monument, and historian all point to the same event in the same city. Prophecy in a text, fulfillment in recorded history. Different sources, same outcome. Fourth case. Tyre on bare rock. Ezekiel speaks of Tyre's ruin and debris thrown into the sea. History records 2 crushing moments. First, a long siege by Nebuchadnezzar against mainland Tyre. Later, Alexander the Great attacked island Tyre by dumping stone and rubble from old Tyre into the water to build a causeway. He took the city. The shoreline changed, and the causeway still exists today. The prophetic wording about debris in the sea matches a very physical piece of military engineering. When text and terrain tell the same story, Instead, these 4 pieces show how a claim can be tested by things you can see, touch, and read. But this channel does more than one series. We also look at famous events where legend and record diverge. Here is one. Thermopylae. Everyone knows the headline that 300 Spartans held the pass. The full story is better. They were not alone. Several thousand Greek allies fought with them. Thespians stayed to the end. King Leonidas chose a narrow pass to cancel the Persian numbers. For 2 days, the Greeks held. Then, a local guide revealed a mountain path. Persian troops outflanked the position. Leonidas dismissed most of the army to save them and kept a rearguard to buy time. They fought to the last. The stand delayed Xerxes long enough for Greece to regroup and later win at Salamis and Plataea. The legend is true in spirit, but thin on detail. The record fills the gaps. That is the point. Sometimes evidence confirms a claim. Sometimes it sharpens it. Either way, we learn. So what do these cases add up to? First, external anchors matter. The Tel Dan Stele, the Cyrus Cylinder, the Arch of Titus, the causeway at Tyre. None of these rely on the text they touch. They come from neighbors, rivals, and empires with their own reasons to write. Second, dates and places matter more than rhetoric. When names, offices, and locations match across sources, timelines become harder to move. Third, gaps and debates still exist. No single artifact proves a worldview. What they do is narrow the space where fiction can hide. Here's the part to remember. The past is not just stories. It is also stone, clay, earth, and metal. In the Bible series, we highlight moments where the text meets the ground. In the wider ancient world, we put legend next to the record and see what stands. If that approach helps you, there is more to watch. If you want the deep dives on each case, tap the playlist on screen now. You will find the full episodes on Tel Dan, Cyrus, Jerusalem in AD 70, and Tyre, plus more on battles like Thermopylae where the honest story is richer than the myth. Subscribe if you want more short, tested history every week.